On the final fall sports edition of SportsCenter, we've got the final regular season football game against Benson County as the Bearcats come roaring back after the TGU loss. And we follow that up with the playoffs, including an instant classic in Crosby. On the volleyball side, there's the big win against Langdon and senior night against Mohall. And we finish it off with the postseason as the Bearcats go into the districts as the favorite. All that and more on NHSPN SportsCenter. Right now!
The 2012 North Star football regular season came to a close in Candu against the Benson County Wildcats. This was a fitting game to send the seniors out on, as this is always a competitive and heated rivalry between towns that are only 25 miles apart. The Bearcats also look to avenge their only regular season loss from a year ago in Leeds. Now to the highlights. Christian Quilvang, with one touchdown already, goes deep again with a clear mismatch. After catching the pass, he makes his reservations for 6 and is happily served. Here, the big guys up front open a huge hole for Jaron as he slices into the end zone untouched for another Bearcat touchdown. In the second half, the Bearcats call up a fade route to Grandy. He beats his defender as Jake puts it right on the money for another TD. With nothing opening up on the tough Bearcat defense, Jake uses this opportunity to pick off a pass, adding on to the 4 total turnovers for the game. Brooks Larson gets in on the action here as he uses his speed to fly by the second level of the Benson defense, and after catching the pass, stumbles into the end zone for 6 more points. The Benson defense had no answer for the lethal aerial assault of the Bearcats. Jake was 8 for 13 passing with 5 touchdown passes. This one was never in doubt as the Bearcats pounced on the Wildcats early and never looked back. And so with the regular season coming to a close, the playoffs were just around the corner.
The Bearcats' opponent for the opening round of the playoffs were the Beach Buccaneers. They came in holding the number 3 seed out of Region 4. This would be an interesting matchup.
Starting off the drive, Colton uses some raw speed to fly around the edge of Beach defenders, then punishes a Buccaneer for getting in his way. The very next play of the opening drive, seeing a one-on-one matchup on the outside, Jake takes his chance and floats one up to Daniel for the first points of the playoffs. Brooks, with cheetah-like speed and sheer aggression, tracks down the Buccaneer ball carrier in the backfield for a loss on this play. Bearcats are near the goal line and Haugen calls on Christian to deliver, like a mailman he always does, and in dramatic fashion as well. Holy cats, what a catch! The Buccaneers, trying to plunder the Bearcat defense, fire their cannons for a deep ball. Hagler is having none of that and picks off the pass, adding to his team-leading interceptions. With Grandy out, Alex says, "Hey, don't forget about me," and pulls in a sweet ballerina catch along the sideline. And after the show of the ref, he gets his touchdown. Braun, with his uncanny ability to flee the scene in the nick of time, shows some nifty footwork and hard running as he outsprints the Beach defenders into the end zone for 6. The Bearcats defense comes up big here as Diesel shows that his tank is always filled to the brim and celebrates his sack with a fist pump. North Star stuck to the ground in this one. Of the team's 168 rushing yards, Colton Braun had 151 of them, along with his 2 touchdowns. With this win, the Bearcats revenged their 2009 loss to the same Buccaneers in Beach, though.
The second round saw a rematch from last year's semifinal game against Divide County. Last year's game did not disappoint, and this year's match looked to be the same. This game featured contrasting styles of play, as the Maroons did not throw a single pass in their first round victory. Now to the highlights. Defense has always been a highlight for the Bearcat teams. Here the pass rush causes the throw to go offline and Jake picks it for the first turnover of the game. Bearcat coaches always preach gang tackling. Here that is put on display and there is no room to run for the Divide running back. Beep, 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 beep. That is the sound of the offense moving in reverse, as the quarterback is sacked by a host of Bearcat tacklers. Scrambling around, trying to avoid Divide defenders, Jake delivers a pinpoint pass to Alex, who never gives up on the play and keeps working to get open. Divide thinks that they can overpower the line, but have you tried to outman a Diesel? Not happening. A little draw play and good blocking lets Colton gallop for a Bearcat first down as North Star begins to march. He is 6'4" and has about an 8-foot wingspan. You can't guard with one-on-one. That matchup is exploited here with another 6 for North Star. With Alex on one side and Daniel on the other, the opposing defense has a tough time picking who to double team. They choose not to double team Daniel here, and Jake finds him in the back of the end zone. Colton takes a handoff, boom. Rumbling, stumbling, he will not be kept out of the end zone on the first play of overtime. The Bearcats lose this one in a shootout as Brooks and Daniel piled up the tackles, each with 23 and 21 respectively. Unfortunately, the Bearcats see their season come to an end with a sour taste in their mouth with what could have been.
The Bearcats came up a little short of their goal, but they did have a year that any kid would want to be a part of, making it to the playoffs once again. They had 4 All-State players this year. Diesel Hunt, Daniel Grandy, and Jacob Hagler made first-team All-State. Brooks Larson made second-team All-State. These 4 and Nolan Reeder made All-Region, and Colton Braun, Jaron Dahl, and Christian Quilvang made honorable mention. Now for a bit more on the football season, here's Daniel with Inside the Numbers.
Through 10 games, the Bearcats put up some very impressive numbers. They outdid their opponents in almost every aspect of the game, and the numbers prove it. Once again, Jake and Danny had a great year hooking up numerous times for big gains and crucial first downs. Colton Braun led the team in rushing again this year with the help of his solid linemen that opened up holes in the trenches so Colton could do what he does best. On defense, Brooks Larson led the attack as he moved into the middle linebacker position rather than cornerback. Stephen, the Diesel, Hunt also had an outstanding year as a defensive lineman, where he used his 5-second speed to attack the opposing team's ball carrier and knock them back to the second grade.
And now I'm joined by Jessica Tubner to talk a little volleyball.
Thanks, Jake. First, let's take a look back at the last 2 regular season home games for the Bearcats. Our homecoming week matchup was against the Langdon Cardinals, who are always one of the top teams in the state. Here's Jake with the highlights.
Kelsey Tubner serves a very difficult serve as always, which gets the defense scrambling. As North Star handles the return from the Cardinals, Langdon then shows off its stellar defense, but trying to set up their offense is a problem as Hagler invites everybody to a block party. Langdon, a very salty serving team, has a serve, but the Bearcats defenders handle it and set up Alexander, who places a beautifully. The Bearcats, using hustle plays for a very long volley, eventually get the chance to set up Jessica Tubner, who puts one in the face of the Cardinal libero. The Bearcats showed up and played a tremendous game, coming out victorious. This game gave North Star the #1 seed in districts and showed the region that they could be very dangerous come tournament time.
After the big win over the Cardinals, the Bearcats went on a 5-game road tour, winning 4 of the 5 games. Then, finishing their season, the Lady Bearcats came home to face off against the Mohall Mustangs. This was Erica's first season as a varsity Bearcat player. She has been a great addition to the squad. In this play, she gets a dig that sets up Kelsey for a kill as Kels finds a deep corner. Mohall struggled with the Bearcat serving as he made a bad pass, which results in a kill for Sarah. In this play, Allie Heiser sets it up high and it's down hard by Jessica Tubner, who finds the deep court. Allie gets a set from Hagler and slams it down over the block for one of her 3 kills of the night. The Bearcats use their back row option as Kelsey Tubner comes in for a kill for the last point to finish off the night. On senior night for North Star, they win convincingly, winning in 3 straight sets, as this was their last test before tournament time, where heroes get remembered and legends never die.
The Bearcats ended their season on a high note, and then they headed to districts as the #1 seed.
With the first round bye, the Bearcats went on to play the Rolette Comets in the second round, which they won in 3 straight sets. Then they headed to the championship, facing off against the Langdon Cardinals. As you saw previously, we had defeated the Cardinals earlier in the season. However, the Cardinals are a tough team and not easy to beat twice.
The Langdon Cardinals had a great night picking up digs on defense. However, Hagler proves to be too much for the Cardinals as she slams it down in the back row for a kill. The Bearcats handle this serve and go for instant offense as Tubner delivers with a point. The Bearcats play good D as they set up their offense, but the Cardinals are able to handle it and return it over, giving the North Star Bearcats a free ball. As Alta sets up Hagler, and she taps it over for a point. Langdon returns North Star's serve as Tubner goes for a kill. The defense prevails for Langdon, but in the end, Tubner gets the last laugh with Heisler as they set up a double block. Tee-hee! North Star was very close in every set, never losing by more than 3, but were unable to get past the Cardinals, giving North Star the 2 seed heading into the regional tournament, where they play their rival, Benson County.
Coming out of the district with second place had the Bearcats playing the Benson County Wildcats, who we had also defeated earlier in the season. But the rematch was a different story, and the Bearcats fell in 3 straight sets.
This ended the Lady Bearcats season as they finished with a record of 25 wins and 6 losses. Jessica, Kelsey, Allie, and Sarah were named to the All-District team. Now let's go to Daniel and take a look back at the stats for this volleyball season.
The Lady Bearcats had a great season, and the stats show why. They had 4 people on the All-District team. Sarah and Jessica led the team in kills with over 70% of the team's total. Other stat leaders include Jessica, who also led the team in blocks, along with Allie leading the way with digs, and Kelsey was the Bearcats' top server for aces.
That's it for this edition of NHSPN Sports Center. Be sure to check out our upcoming ETI shows, which should be out by mid-December. Our next Sports Center will cover the Boys Ramsey County Tournament and should also be online by mid-December.